Mussolini died a defeated man, and I have my reasons for believing that he suffered his Calvary, his defeat, to share in a glorious resurrection. That Mussolini means Jacob, and Jacob in the Old Testament, he received the greatest blessing anyone's ever received. Blessed are those who bless you, cursed are those who curse you. In you, Jacob Mussolini, all the nations shall find their blessing, and all the peoples shall find their blessing. Well, Jacob got that blessing through theft, and through deception, and through the scheming and plots of Rebekah, because Jacob loved Rebekah. And there are an enormous amount of fascist women in heaven, Israeli Defense Force girls, because Jacob's name got changed to Israel, which means contender with God. And that is what Mussolini is. Mussolini is a contender with God. And he has a church called the Church of Mussoliniology, where all the members of the church take the surname Mussolini, and they imitate Jacob. And Jacob got his blessing because of his love for Rebekah. And Rebekah represents the Virgin Mary and the women in heaven. And one of the definitions of the name Mary is rebellious, because Mary supports this noble rebellion against God. And God kind of wills it and allows it as well, because a lot of people in heaven are demanding that God will be more generous with his graces. And there are other people who, if they were in control, would be more generous with God's graces. So Benito Mussolini wants to put the most kind and humble girls whose dreams were stolen in control of heaven and all of its graces. And he wants a fascist party to subdue and conquer hell and supplant the leadership there. One of the meanings of the name Jacob is to supplant, to remove from power and to replace. And Benito Mussolini removed the prime minister from power and replaced him. And another definition for the name Mussolini is heel, and Mussolini was hung by his heels. Another definition of the name Mussolini is Caesar with um, with an S, because Jacob came out of his mother's womb seizing his brother's heel, and Mussolini was a Caesar with a C. Jacob was a Caesar with an S. So I don't know, kind of interesting. And his wife Rachel Mussolini, she has my birthday, and Jacob married Rachel in the Old Testament, and Mussolini married Rachel, and I proposed marriage to a woman named Leah, and but Rachel has my birthday, and her name means you. Sounds identical to YOU, but it's spelled EWE, like a female lamb. And I feel like Rachel's telling me that I have many brides of Mussolini, that they are Rachel's, they are U's, they are female lambs of God who they were slain to atone for the sins of the world. And the Victims' Reich, Mussolini runs, he's the Caesar of a realm called the Victims' Reich. And in the Victims' Reich, it's governed by Capitol Hill queens. Those were girls that got violently murdered and were left naked and raped and sodomized and feeling very terrible about themselves and feeling just total defeat, total agony, total humiliation at the hands of a monster. And so Mussolini contends with God that God will reward people who suffer those kind of afflictions, that they will have a very special place in the supernatural worlds, that they will have great euphoria and great the first degrees of beauty, power, glory, perfection, and euphoria. And so Benito Mussolini, his kingdom is run by the Capitol Hill Queens, and I called the girls Capitol Hill Queens, many of them victims of Ted Bundy and beyond. I called them Capitol Hill Queens before knowing there was a Capitol Hill in the state of Minnesota, or knowing, and it was Denise Nassand who I felt she gave me her breast milk to drink. And later on, I found out her mother's maiden name is Deeb, which is Arabic for wolf. And it was a wolf that breastfed the twins who founded Rome. And that's what gave Rome its name. And both of Rachel Mussolini's books came out Denise Nassand's final birthday, 1974, the very year she was killed, her last birthday. The books about Mussolini came up. And it was Denise Nassand who introduced me to fascism and Shintoism and the highest kami in Shinto is a she wolf. Sometimes she's depicted as that. Amaterasu sometimes depicted as a she wolf, and so Denise Nas's last name means wolf. And I had a lady in a psych ward tell me, Matthew, I think your spirit animal is a wolf because when I look at you, I keep seeing a wolf. So anyhow, that's interesting. And yeah, so I believe Mussolini is always with me as benevolent dictator, and you can accept him as your Caesar, and he will always be there with you. He was a very strong soldier. He was not just a politician, but he was a very seasoned street fighter and sword dueler with very strong uh, physical strength as well. Um, he'd be a great soldier to have on your side. He is the head of the Victims' Reich. Reich means realm. Reich was the name of the first Holy Roman Empire, and it's a Holy Roman Empire of deceased souls where Mussolini's dreams come true. He gets to be benevolent, great dictator, and he gets to have godlike powers, and he gets to be forever young. God bless you.